come in 1992 after the election of Cambodia by the UNTAC. And the cooperation started with 6 countries, different ideologies. 1992, China is a very close country. Myanmar is also a very close country. Our friend from Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam also just come up from a communist country. So it's very economic in transition. Thailand is the only one that left there alone. So the cooperation started, okay, do not touch on ideologies, do not touch on political structure. They concentrate on 3 common needs. Number 1, we are all poor, regardless of the political structure. Number 2, we all face the same pain after the Indo-China war. We've been in 15 years of war, and we are powerless. We are little countries. After the West have moved out from Indo-China, we were left behind. Like, if you look in these greater Mekong sub-regions, if you look at Laos, a lot of people said Zambia is a landlocked country. Laos is also a landlocked country. If you look at Yunnan, though part of China, but Yunnan is a landlocked province. It would take them by high-speed train 3 days to take any cargo out of Yunnan to the sea. But it would take Yunnan only about 7 hours to go to the nearest port in Myanmar. So there's a common needs, economic cooperation. We look at the population. If we join together of the greater Mekong sub-regions, our population is about 325 million, which is about the size of the US. If you look at the size of our country, altogether, we are about Western Europe, which is very comfortable in terms of competitive advantage. So based on this thing, we know different, we get together. And when we get together, we create what we call synergy. Number 1, we found that if we're together, we are in this very strategic location. In the north is China. In the west is India. In the south, there's also the Southeast Asian nation and the down under Australia and New Zealand. So we are in the middle. So why don't we use this opportunity to get together and link our economy? The cooperation is based on 3 C. 1 is connectivity. We believe that if we connect this country together, from the landlocked, Laos will become landlinked. From those plains of Cambodia, soon they will become the rice basket of the GMS. From the mountainous of Yunnan, it will be the battery of the GMS. So connect everybody together. That means you connect people, you connect institutions, and you connect the land. Mekong Institute, our institute started in 1996, owned by the 6th country to promote this cooperation. And I'm very happy to say that His Excellency Sorasak-san is one of our alumni of the Mekong Institute. He's been there 2000 and 2001. We believe that if we get together, we would be able to share our competitive advantage. Those that lack capital, then can provide labor. Those that have advanced in capital can also share the capital. With this interflow of production, we feel that we will be the central of the production. In the same time, we also be part of the consumer market. If you look at 1992, this is what happened in 1992. The only road that be able to you'll be able to run 24 hours a day, 12 months a year, only in Thailand, 1992. Our cooperation started, and then in 2006, this is how we connect together. You can see that how fast the progress. And we believe that with the Myanmar open up with the election, we feel that in 2015, we should be able to connect everybody together. In 1992, fiber optic, the transmission line, fiber optics only available in Thailand. With the cooperation, in 2004, the fiber optics have gone through all the regions. That means you basically have the same transformation technology as in Cambodia, Laos, or Vietnam. And the interconnection of power at the blueprint, you can see that we can generate power that can feed the whole region using competitive advantage. Yunnan and Laos have hydropower. They are landlocked. So their competitive advantage is trying to provide hydropower to other countries in the lower. And the capital from the lower country will go to ensure that Laos can build hydropower. We encourage private sector to also invest. Like in Laos, there are about 8 hydropower dams that were constructed. At present, Laos sell electricity to Cambodia without building any single transmission line. They sell it through Thailand, Thailand sells it to Cambodia. The same thing, Vietnam, in the north of Vietnam, sell back to Laos. So with all this cooperation, I think it's possible for us. And this, we hope that in 2012, this will happen. We are trying to promote the region as a single tourist destination. Because in the past, if you promote, let's go to Laos, well, that's not interesting. Or let's go to Cambodia and see Angkor Wat. Well, but if you said, why don't you come to the Mekong country, and here, this is what we have for you. We already initiated single visa with Cambodia. If you go to the embassy of Cambodia, you get a visa, that means you can also go to Thailand. And we hope in the future, the whole Mekong countries will be like a Schengen state in Europe that we can travel. We develop the cooperation we develop through economic corridors. When we do South-to-South cooperation, we don't look at one country, but we look at, okay, if we're going to develop this, what's going to happen? So for example, in the central, we call East-West Economic Corridor. You link the Andaman Sea to the South China Sea. That means if this complete, you can take the cargo of the ship unloaded in Andaman Sea in Myanmar, transport it within 7 hours. It will go to Da Nang port of Vietnam instead of taking 3 days to Malacca Strait. So that's the competitive advantage. You can take the cargo from Kunming to Bangkok to Singapore by high-speed train. You can also now transport from Bangkok all the way to Ho Chi Minh through the southern corridor. So corridor development, it takes regional approach. And we ask donor or development partner, don't just look at the country problem, look at how we got to develop. For example, Southern Economic Corridor, the road from the border of Bangkok, from Thailand to Ho Chi Minh, developed by different donors from Japan, from ADB, from the neighboring country. I think this can be a good approach to maybe can use in other regions. We just want to say that the development has shifted. I think ASEAN, if you are from the donor country, the ASEAN +6, that is the world factory now. In the past, we think that we, from the less developing country, have to sell primary or intermediate goods to the developed country, and the developed country sell back to us. If you look at this, now we have the ASEAN have increased the intermediate goods from 26 to 31%, and export to 31% of finished goods. So, in fact, 1/3 of the world export come from ASEAN +6. ASEAN +6 occupy around 49% of world population. That means if you combine India, ASEAN, and China, that means you are half of the world population, you are 25% of the world GDP, and ASEAN have 6 million people. GMS Corporation is considered the most successful corporation in the last 16 years, and ASEAN now taking over, trying to integrate that into the bigger, from 6 countries to 10 countries, and we hope that that will be successful in the future. I think the success factor that ASEAN have absorbed from the GMS is number one, single market and single production base. No matter where you produce the product, it's from the same. The market also should be. The 6 GMS country, we try to reduce the tariff, and I think later His Excellency will talk more about Cambodia's case. We then make a competitive economic regions, and we want to later integrate into global economy. Just want to say that the GMS have created regional economy, but at the same time create dependency between the between country and regions. We cannot live alone now. In Thailand, there's about 3 million labor migration working there. If you pull out the labor from neighboring country, 50% of the food industry in Thailand will close. 40% of the garment will have to close. At the same time, if you pull out all the labor migration from Cambodia, 700,000 Vietnamese in Cambodia, at least 60% of commercial fishing will suffer. If you pull out a lot of people from migration from Laos, a lot of construction will suffer. So there's a lot of dependency, and I think creating freedom of movement of goods and labor is always the way to go. As you look at this Thai economy, Thailand is no longer depend on the market from Europe. If you can look, we sell the